Oh my God, Paul, the state of your car. Honestly, I've just walked past it. I've just gone outside, and the amount of bugs on the front of your car.
We started.
Yeah, we've started. We've started the podcast. It's a state. Have you washed it since? How long have you had it?
About a year now. Probably just less than a year. No, I didn't say I hadn't washed it. It has been washed, but it's not a free. Well, I mean, you get people that wash cars regularly and people that don't. And and every time I get a new car, it's like always sort of, you know, you get in it and it's got that new sort of smell and feel, isn't it? And you know, you got all the and then after that all sort of subsides, and then my intentions are always to keep the car clean, but it just. You give other things that come along to do.
How many times have you washed your car in a year, Paul?
Probably two, maybe not even two. Maybe
trying to save the environment, aren't you, Paul? All that wasted water.
It's time. It's yeah.
You're not washing it though.
No, I know, but you got to dry. Yeah, I just don't get round to it. It's white, so.
You shouldn't buy white cars, Paul.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, guilty. Yeah,
it looks brown. It literally looks brown across the front of the car because there's that many bugs on it.
Have you seen the back of Lyndsey's car's got loads of flies because she drives so slow?
That was Gio when he used to be.
Yeah.
There's one thing that's funny about cars, and I said it to Chris Thomas, our cameraman, the other day when we were at DMG Mori. He went into his boot to get all his camera gear out and stuff.
Yeah.
And I always remember when I used to sell, when I was sort of a traveling salesman, as they call it, and used to go out with the sales manager or the sales director, and you were always sort of warned and told that you had to keep a clean car, because if you got a clean car, that meant you'd got a clean, focused mind. And
it does help.
And if you had to take customers out and stuff like that. And this guy was notorious for always wanting to open your boot. So he would, because he wanted to check how, because in his mind, if your boot was tidy with brochures, like you used to have brochures in boxes, then your strategy was tidy and everything was tidy. So whenever he went out with you, he was always like, the night before, I'd probably got sick to death of cleaning cars. That's why I don't do it anymore. So he'd take the boxes out clean, and you'd have all your brochures in line, and he'd go out and you'd go to the first call, and he'd be like, right, oh yeah, have you got your brochures, Paul? And you'd be like, oh, yeah. So you'd open your boot and you'd get in it, and you could tell, and he'd be looking in there. So
looked like a bottom of a hamster's cage.
I mean, honestly, my mum says that about toilets in restaurants. Yeah. She always says, like, the toilets are a representation of the kitchen. Not the same thing. Like, doesn't it?
I get it, though.
But you've got to look at, if you look after the toilets, then the kitchens are clean. But if the toilets aren't clean, then what do you think they're doing in the kitchens?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? She's got a bit of a funny about it.
Yeah. So if she goes into a restaurant, does she go into the toilet before she orders food?
Not really, but she always says, if they can't look after that, what are they doing behind the scenes there?
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit that we got deep then. Yeah. I'm going to say, did you ever have we're there, we haven't. No, we got an update on the peanut butter story with your daughter.
Oh, it's still there.
Is an ongoing feud. Basically,
the battle is still.
Do you want to tell people the story?
Just she spilt some peanut butter on the side of the door panel, and you know, you clean it, I clean it, you clean it, I clean it, and subsequently no one's cleaned it. So the battle lives on.
Oh, that is so.
We won't get Joe in there though, because he'll probably get his bit of bread and butter and mop it up, and that'd be his
every chance,
breakfast.
Paul. Thanks for that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so anyway, welcome to MTDCNC Uncut. I did want to cover a few topics this week amongst our chit chat, but any updates on the tariffs? Because I think you watch all the news, you absorb a lot more information.
It's been a really interesting time, isn't it? I mean, of course, we've just recently negotiated. Is it a trade deal or not a trade deal with the US? I don't know what they quite class it as, because it doesn't cover
a framework, isn't it?
Is that what it is?
A framework of a deal, yeah.
You know, we're in a better place than we were when we last did the podcast, because we were quite uncertain with stuff. I read and hear a few things, and it's quite interesting, because some people would argue we've now got this, you know, good opportunity in this good deal, but it certainly wasn't as good as, it was better than it was when he announced the tariffs, but it was not as good as it was before the tariffs, some might say. But I know you might have a different opinion on the fact that, I suppose they've not negotiated with many other, well, certainly with the EU yet, so we don't know how that will come out, and then how that will make our sort of potential deal look. So I think a little bit more stability in the markets is definitely been seen and felt, and it has. So that can only be a good thing. But of course, there was the Indian trade deal as well, which has been struck, which I don't know too much of the detail on. But
Yeah, both are really interesting for different reasons, really. Like Paul says, the markets, they crashed pretty much for, I don't know, was it a week, maybe 10 days maximum. They've all recovered straight away, the markets. The interesting one with the US framework deal, whatever, there's a few highlights, isn't there? I know the SMMT, the Automotive Manufacturing Association, essentially. We can sell cars to America now, whereas going back, what was it, 6-8 weeks, it would have been a no. So we're in a stronger position than some of our European friends. We're in a stronger position than we were before. I don't know, because EU had the deal as well. So it's quite complicated. Although we've still got a tariff on us, it's significantly less than the EU. Certainly when we look at cars, steel's a big one, of course, in manufacturing. So that's an interesting one. The Indian one, it's an interesting one, the Indian one. That's not quite so straightforward, is it? There's a lot of a nuance to that. The fact that it's free trade pretty much for Indians to sell over here. It's not quite the same going back the other way, but it's still pretty strong. We got this freedom of movement for staff. So Indian nationals can come to the UK for short periods of time, I think it's maybe 3 years, and not pay national insurance. If they want to stay long term, then you have to start paying national insurance. Some people I've seen on LinkedIn saying that's really unfair. But then I go to lots of manufacturers where they can't get labour, and and they would argue it's a good thing because they can get in short term skilled labour. Whereas here in the UK,
I can imagine quite a mixed opinion on that, though.
Yeah, the headlines doesn't sound great, does it? We're going to bring our Indian friends in and they won't pay national insurance. But I think, again, as always, there's a bit more nuance to it than that, isn't there?
Yeah, I can imagine.
So it's always interesting when these political things happen, because you listen to one side, then you listen to the other, and you often struggle to think, well, who's right and who's wrong, and where do you sit? And it fascinates me sometimes how some people can be so strongly opinionated to one side, and they really cannot see, the other side to a degree, or whether is that just their position that they can, but they're just clearly focused on one mission to get their opinion heard. I mean, of course, we've got the new EU deal as well, which was
that's what I was going to ask you. Said about
and some people would say, "Oh God, we've got these conversations about Brexit again." We went through such a troublesome time those years ago, and some might say we've got to a position now where we're quite comfortable standing alone, and we're starting to tread our own paths and negotiate our own trade deals and stuff. And now we've got closer alignment again with the EU in certain areas, and of course that frustrates people that wanted their sovereignty and Brexit to happen, and yet some who trade with the EU and and wanted closer ties, this might be another step further, a step closer to that. But again, it affects the fishing industry quite dramatically, and there's a lot of unhappiness in that area. But for youngsters moving about and freedom of working in different countries, has been applied. There's certain things in food and goods and stuff like that. So there's quite a lot going on at the moment. And we reported growth in our country in the first quarter of 0.7%, but that was before sort of all the NI stuff kicked off and the tariffs were talked about. So there's now discussions as to whether how's the second quarter going to look when results come out. So it's definitely, I think, from when we last spoke, a lot of that uncertainty. I mean, someone obviously got him in a room, didn't they, and said, "Come on, Don, what's going on here?" I mean, we talked about.
I don't think that anyone would say that. Do you think? Or
it's an interesting one. Did the markets collapse and him thinking, "Crikey, I'm not quite sure I'm doing the right thing here," or was that always the plan? You just don't know, do you? With these businessmen and politicians.
They said that. I think we said this on the last one, though, when we went to a customer site. You and myself and the guy who was there said. They know the next few steps. They're not working just they're not responding. They know, they're pre-planning. They know that they're 5 steps ahead, for example. That's what I'm trying to say. It took me ages to. So it's all planned. Yeah. And it's our reaction because it's new information. We're quite shocked, but they've got a route that they want to go down.
I don't know with him. I honestly don't know. I think a lot. I honestly think it hits so hard. And markets drive governments eventually. You know, the money talks.
It was quite shocking.
And it was, it was a pretty unseen circumstances.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a fair chance that he was told he needed to definitely rein back on things. I mean, you talk about the China and the Americas stuff now. You know, that went off to like 150% tariff. Yeah. It just got ridiculous.
Still
it got
now,
absolutely ridiculous.
145.
I thought there'd been some negotiation where
I thought it was still.
They both agreed to reduce it, and you're not back to where they were, but you can clearly see that the economies are looking at this and going, this isn't working.
It's funny you say that, because there's two companies that I went to see, and both of them talking about that, and where their main customer was American and they would buy products from China. They've now invested or planning to invest in a couple of new machines because of the price of the products, buying them here in the UK. So they've changed all of their work from China to the UK. What I've just said, I went to two companies, which was All British Precision and Axminster, but they were discussing, it's not that they've definitely gone for these machines, but in the plans, because of all of these changes and onshoring of work, there's going to be more investment and more growth for both businesses because of that very reason. So that's kind of, for them, that's a great scenario. So that's positive for the UK. Maybe not so positive for where they were sourcing the components from in China, but they were just saying that that's essentially what's happened because of the tariffs. It's changed the way their customers are buying.
It's interesting, isn't it? Some of these components, they're not a great deal of value, and you imagine a disruption to your supply chain if China, or anywhere else for that matter, just decides we're not going to sell these parts anymore. And if you are, there's tariffs on it. So why not reshore it, or at least nearshore it? Bring it back in-house. I appreciate supply chains and hundreds of thousands of this, and sometimes it's out of your hands. But as a rule, we should make it.
I think that's interesting, because what happened, it's very quick for people to change their minds to say, we're going to levy tariffs on you. It could be equally as quick for somebody to turn around and say, we're going to take them off. So can you plan your investment based on what other what governments? I mean, you have to a degree. Where I'm going with this is, I was in Austria and did a 3-day tour last week to go and see Aubameyang customers that bought Aubameyang machines. Two really interesting companies, actually. We started in Zurich and then to Austria and then up to Germany. The second company I went to see was a company called Bath Precision Technologies, and it was a huge company. And I was curious about all the automotive issues that have happened, and that's quite clear in the media and the press and the industry over in Germany. And I wanted to actually go and speak to a German manufacturer, a company that had been in the heart of this, and what was the experience? Is it what we're hearing around the world? How has it affected their company? And I was really, the support they're getting from the government, the story goes that basically they were pretty much all automotive machining up until about 2017, when they started to see changes, the diesel scandal and stuff like this. So they quickly decided that they wanted to diversify into other markets just to secure the business. Bearing in mind, this is a company that I think they employ 100 people. It's a big business. And they started to look for opportunities in medical, aerospace, and renewables. And they're now heavily into the renewables market, which has kind of grown a lot over the recent years, backed by masses of government support. And the government have recognised that, of course, automotive issues, there's less parts on an electric vehicle, lower cost of economies, it's gone, it's not coming back. So they are supporting these companies that want these growth in these new markets to the degrees of, I won't mention the numbers, but the grants that they are looking to get in order to invest in technology, and not just the machines, but also the engineering expertise to make parts, the added value that these other lower cost economies can't deliver. Was quite something, because I don't think we experienced the same here. He'd gone to government, he's speaking with them, he's lobbied with them, and he's basically said, look, we need investment. And they've gone, we're here to support you. We want Germany now to be the leader in the development of renewable technology. So we will throw money at this to make it happen. and how he explained the journey to me was like, that's really, I said, I'll see you at EMO. He's like, yeah, we've got a stand at EMO, which has all been funded by or part funded by government to talk about.
When you talk about renewables, you're talking about energy level.
Talking about, wind turbines, all renewable energies, anything to do with.
You can get on farming and everything, because I work at the World AD Biogas Show at the NEC, and all of that is a lot of what they're asking for is funding for the farmers and all renewable energy and everything, and that is going to be growing like nobody's business.
I mean, the parts they were making on one of these Aubameyang machines, they are the only company to have cracked the manufacturing of this. So it's hard to describe what it was like. It's like a load of rings, almost like make up a magnet, essentially. But they've got to make them. There's like a 10 micron flatness on the entire part, and they're using this Aubameyang machine to turn them, and then to mill them, and then to basically do it in one operation. But the clever part is they've engineered the way to do this, and we couldn't actually film, of course, that because it would give away their the intellect that they've got to actually create the parts. So the machine's done a tremendous job for them in giving them that multi-process machining, but their engineering expertise has founded them a way of creating these parts, which is now going to be, they'll be supported by government in order to accelerate this program and build buildings and buy machines and technologies. And you just think this company's going from strength to strength. So
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Without getting controversial, but
yeah, it would be, and great for them. They're the third biggest economy in the world, but they're recognising that there's changes. They recognise that there's been changes. They're not going to live in the past. They're going to help their manufacturers move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. A large part of their GDP is manufacturing. Far bigger than ours.
Yeah.
So it's
I didn't realise they were the third biggest economy in the world, aren't they? So yeah.
What are you doing at the weekend, Paul?
What am I doing this weekend? Well, it's my birthday next week.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it Paul's birthday?
never
Have I
said.
told you before?
Oh, well, I tell you what we'll do is I'm just going to leave the podcast and leave the room, but you keep talking amongst yourselves.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
What's going on here?
Oh, I just stopped the camera.
I didn't know it was your birthday, Paul.
Yeah, it's my birthday.
How old are you?
So,
To help me.
Oh, I'm coming as well.
Yeah, actually, what I'll do is... Right,
hey.
there we go.
Thank you
And
very
there we
much.
go. And then that can go over the top there. So let me do this. There we go. 1 second. And this is a handmade medal for you from my daughter.
Oh, look at that.
50. You're not. I thought you were 60. You're not 60?
It's really good.
Which one of your daughters?
Not my 2-year-old. Sienna has made that.
Oh,
for
thank you, Sienna. That
She
looks
also made
absolute-
you a headband that says birthday girl, and I said I can't give him that, so she's changed it to boy, but she did it after I left the house this morning. But that was made at the weekend.
So do you want me to open this now, or do you?
It's up to you.
Do you want me to open it on my birthday?
It's totally up to you.
What do you say? I'll open it on my birthday. What?
Open it now. Okay. Jake said open it now. Don't worry about the card, but you can open it now.
Boys don't open cards anyway.
Oh, don't they? Is that a rule? Is that a general rule?
We open them, we just don't read them.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Oh no, we open them and we shake them to see what
And see if there's any money in them.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Happy 50th. I hope this
Helps to make it taste better.
guess
Oh,
what's
what do you think it could be, Joe?
Soap.
The front. There we go. No, you don't need to. I think it's already opened because I checked it all over.
Yeah, we've already drunk it and just filled it back up.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's fabulous.
You don't know what it is yet.
Engraved.
Yeah?
It's got my name on it.
Yeah. You don't know what it is yet, though, do you? See what it says as well?
I need the glasses.
Oh.
Barbecue.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
And they're all
that is
engraved.
fantastic.
Yay!
Thank you very much.
That's a pleasure.
Barbecue the weekend.
Look at that.
Yeah. And it
Got my name
says, it's got all your name on, so that makes it like, hopefully you would have.
Personal. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you very much. That's very good. Thank you.
That's a pleasure. And it also says since, And then your birthday date, so like the year of when you were born on the front. You know, like since 1975.
Oh, look at that, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's all right.
That was a good year, that was.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There you go. So, it's Paul's 50th.
First present yet.
Is it? It's a bit early though, sorry, but it's only a few days, but we wouldn't see you until after.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Thank you
What
very
are you
much.
going to do for it?
I'll have it. What, for my actual birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Fire up the Barbie.
I'm going
Yeah.
to possibly going to either Lisbon or to Barcelona for 3 days next week. So yeah, looking forward to that.
And is that with your girls or?
No, so just be me and my wife. Yeah, just going for 3. We're going for 2 nights and 3 days. Sort of, my birthday's on the 27th, and we go on the 28th and come back on the 31st.
Lovely.
So, yeah, looking
A
forward
nice romantic weekend away.
Weekdays, yes. but
Yeah. Wait, romantic weekdays away. And will you turn your phone off?
I will, but I'm not a massive birthday person. I'm not normally. I just don't.
sorry.
No, I don't.
So if you
No,
get
but I'm always
sandpaper,
like-
then you get
no, but
Paul Jones off it.
I'm always like my birthday is almost like every day. Do you know what I mean? It sounds corny, but I just think that you look at your life and you think, you do the things you want, you lead a good life, you have a healthy family and all the rest of it and friends. So I always think that,
You celebrate it at the moments that it doesn't need to be your birthday to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that. That's quite a nice perspective, actually.
So
Yeah.
this is really nice. This
Yeah,
is really,
you have to leave it on. You can take it off. Don't worry.
It's his first ever medal.
yeah, no, that is, yeah.
There's 50 on it.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you can do a video later.
What
for
are you
Sienna.
doing at the weekend then?
I've got the in-laws over, so yeah.
Too far away to think about. I've no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be busy, I can assure you of that, but I'm not sure.
Oh, it's bank holiday.
We're coming to a barbecue at yours, I think.
Of course. Yeah, it's fine. So what have we been up to? Because, of course, we were at the Solitech open house, weren't we? They had an open house week before last. That was really good. You know what? I love the way they did it. Basically, they had an open house event and they had all the live demos, but we were filming them as well. So wherever someone sat there, they could see everything going on. And it was almost like the journey of the products that they offer to market. And there's some really good demos as well.
I always think that people question these days whether to have an event. They always think, should we have an event? Should we just do some, should we just invite a few people, have a technology day? What's the best way to do it? People have experimented with so many, 3 days, 5 days, 1 day. It's hard to know because of the internet, really, isn't it? How are you gonna add more value to your product by having an event than just by doing something really good online? And I think they tried to, have this immersive experience where they could almost create video media so that wherever you were in the room, you could see the machine demos. Pick different machines and do different demos, and it was really well laid out, really well organised. And you did a fabulous job comparing it as well.
Thank you. I know DMG Moria also, they've got an event and they want to do something different this year as well. I think it's kind of going, right, what do we normally do? Let's do something different. They're doing a big grand reveal of a new machine as well. So it's kind of, it's almost like this industry is saying, we've got to do something different. I think everyone's kind of saying, let's have our product and make a show about it and putting the effort in, because you've got to, because there's a lot of competition out there. So it's okay, what can we do that is different, that stands out? And I think fair play to them.
I'm hearing exactly that. So it wasn't that many years ago, COVID, I suppose, 2, 3, 4 years ago, everyone, you go to an open house and they'd say, how many did the other company have? And how many people were there? Whereas now people don't want that. People don't want 100 people in a room. They want like 10, 20, 30 people in a room maybe, but the right people have meaningful conversations. It's nice to have 100 people in a room for a magazine picture or a video shot, but in truth, can you speak to 100 people? Probably not.
You can't actually think about it.
So, but if you've got 30 and you've got obviously a few salespeople, you can have deeper, meaningful conversations. So that's a trend. That's a trend I'm seeing.
Yeah,
well, when you would have had when you had an event previously, or going back a few years ago, people would have gone to it because they didn't have a clue about what you were showing. They couldn't research it any other way. So if you wanted to go and see something, you had to get in a car and you had to go. I remember the days at Bridgeport when we used to do open houses. We used to get hundreds. It was lots of people coming all the time. Have not seen this machine before. I can't see it anywhere else. Now they can. Now they'll see stuff, and you might find the ones that go are the ones that are really serious about the technology that they're thinking of investing in.
Stuart didn't really think about it before. Years ago, that was how you saw, whereas people are so educated before they walk through the door. So really it's getting to know the person and the company, like understanding them to build a relationship as well with them. I think that's quite important.
I mean, the one you talk about with DMG Mori is they've got the NLX 2500, which is their most popular selling machine, which we saw at Fronton. 2 huge spindles, a massive turret on it, and they want to try and create this kind of razzmatazz around this machine. Yeah. So you're right, they're trying to do something different, lots of noise, maybe lots of visuals, but you've got to get people through the door, and that's really tough. That is
especially
tough.
With everyone living such busy lives and stuff like that. That is not an easy task.
And I think people just being able to do all their research on whatever platform they choose, or thinking that they can, and thinking that they can, see everything. I've got a bit of...
You get something out your mouth. Yeah, I noticed that earlier.
Did
it come off your scarf?
No, maybe a little bit of fluff.
Yeah. So that I think the Soditech event was interesting to see the dynamic between certain suppliers of EDM products and then, of course, their EDM machines, but also their high-speed machining centres.
Yes.
Which, if you haven't seen a Sodic high-speed machining centre before, these machines are something else. They're so quiet. Is that machining? Is it machine?
Yeah.
And you look at the surface finish on some of the parts, all linear drive motor technology, and they were making the electrodes on one, but they also made this really impressive golf giveaway demo, didn't they?
Yes.
Which was, did you have a go on?
I would have won if I'd had a
Did you have a go?
I did have a go. I actually impressed myself. I'm no golfer, but I did it right.
I had a go, but I did the Happy
some
Gilmore.
video evidence if you look hard enough.
Is there? I did the Happy Gilmore, where you run up to it.
Did
and
you hit it?
Yeah, hit it every time. But I'm better at doing that, like a hockey shot, than I am standing there still, because I'm not great at that. But
did you ever go?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How far did you drive in? Be honest.
I can't remember. Can you remember? I can't remember. It wasn't a bad shot. No. But Greg is a really good golfer.
Yeah, he's like ex-pro, isn't he? So where everyone else is say on 100, he was at like 1,000 something, and it was just on another scale.
Golf to me is
221. It's quite competitive when I looked at everyone else in the room.
That's pretty good, because golf to me is one of those games when you start playing, you might have a first decent hole. If the second one is good, then the third one you deteriorate. But by the time you get to hole 6 or 7, I'm just like,
you need a drink.
But you don't have to walk with this machine. Just hit it.
I know.
Get the next grub out, chip it.
But when you do go and play on a real game, it's like, for me, I get to 7 or 8 holes and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this.
You just said about golf as well. I went out to HP and it was all 3D printing, and it's cool because they are now 3D printing the putter. I don't know what the name of the company is for, but it's a well-known brand. Right. So what was really, really cool is to go there and see what 3D printing, what the level and where 3D printing is at. The fact that they were making trainers, they are making so many things for the medical sector. It's unbelievable. And then they went on to printing metal. So the whole reason we went out...
Isn't a putter made of metal? Is it? Is a putter made of metal?
Yeah. No, it was.
I guess it could be.
Oh, you won't see it.
I suppose it could be any material, but obviously you need a bit of weight, don't you?
Yeah.
But not sure about the application. It'd be cool. Because I suppose you could have it tailored to the weight and things, maybe.
What did you take away from there?
For me,
two big 3D printers.
if only.
And a pair of trainers.
Yes. Yeah. What I took away was, so at HP in Barcelona, they have their machines all behind glass. And what they've got is a lot of people who are scientists, and I hate saying this word, metallurgists, is all right. Basically geniuses. And what they're constantly doing is developing their own systems. And so they're all printing, but they're developing materials. So whether it be metal, they're now developing a heat-resistant material as well, which is, I saw like battery packs and packs where they would be in hot environments, a new material that can cope with that, because obviously people like plastics and stuff that they can't. So what they're doing is they're like like the cusp, almost, I don't know if it's safe for me to say, the epitome of where 3D printing is in terms of development. And of course, I don't know if you know, and you might be able to explain it a bit better, but as a 3D printer, you've got this kind of area where you're printing a building area, and it's like depending on the machine you get, you can obviously go bigger. And so what I think and where I think 3D printing is at now and where it will and is developing is tailor-made components. Because if you imagine you've got a build, but what you can do is you can build everything. You know, it's not, so for example, if, give me an example, like you said, a car.
Yeah.
You could be building all different components on one build. So it's not like when you're doing subtractive machining and you're building 50 of one component, that's it, 50 of another. It's actually you build everything in that assembly. So when every single build, every time it's complete, you've got every single component that you need that's totally different. And we spoke about like glasses, and I don't know how long it takes you. If you needed a new pair of glasses, how long does it take for you to order? It's a few weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, week, 10 days, I would have thought.
Oh, is it that quick? I thought it was a bit longer than that. But what they can do...
Don't you just go down Wilco's?
No, you did.
No,
Where were we the other day? You bought women's glasses, females' glasses.
Yeah. I had a pair. I went into... I was travelling to... I lost my glasses and I was travelling up to Soditech. Just went into Boots or somewhere and I picked up this pair and I haven't got them today and I put them on and
Couldn't
when
see
I got
them.
to Solid, they had flowers on them. Took them home, my daughter saw them. Said, Dad,
Diamonds. It
those?
was like little diamonds. And on the front.
Like £3.50 or something.
You also did a Zoom call wearing
we're
them
an
as
inclusive business, Lyndsey.
We are totally, yeah.
Showing my...
We did chuckle though, because
Yeah.
it was the fact that you couldn't see them.
Yes.
So when you put them on, we were
I didn't
like,
realise these flowers. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have these build with those. They can almost be like twin pallets as well. They can
Yeah.
pull a build unit out, put another
straight
one in.
Yeah, and of course it's overnight, it's printing. But I think where is it going? Well, obviously I've said materials, but also developing products that are personalised, tailor-made, quick. A lot of, I think we've done a video before where it's and I think we've spoken about this with one of your daughters when she was born and she needed the little helmet, the cranial. Of course, years ago, you'd measure out the size of the baby's head and then you'd have a helmet and then it would the baby would grow. Well, they can, like Invisalign, pre-plan, a 6-week program of the growth naturally. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And you're not waiting for them. So there's so many areas where it's just incredible technology. And what I would say is HP we know them for the printers, are at the cusp of that. They're at the cutting edge of development. And the level of research and development that they're going into is phenomenal just to maximise the builds and the materials. It's crazy.
It is crazy. 3D print, we talk about it like it's new, don't we? I don't know. I'm guessing 30 years old, maybe longer, 3D printing. But when I look at it, I think, how long is it before you've just had some IKEA wardrobes and maybe your bracket or whatever breaks? How long will it be before you go on Amazon, type in IKEA and you just press it and they print one for you? Or maybe, you print on, basically everything's print on demand. You keep knocking off your door mirrors. Could you not print the bracket that's broken and things like that? You'll be able to in time.
But I think it will go another level, Joe. I think it will go to being bespoke to your hand.
Sure.
Whether that's quite extreme, but it would be things like that.
You could be printing your own
They
shoes.
do. Yeah,
stuff.
they do.
Imagine
They print
if there
shoes.
was things where you could make your own clothes, make your own shoes, make your own glasses and stuff.
Shoes is a
clothes
good one,
wouldn't be
yeah.
3D printed, but if the world turned into this,
trainers, please.
if this world turned into where you just made everything yourself because you had all these machines that were making bits.
Your wardrobe would be a disaster if you...
It would be more multicoloured than it is. Yeah. I've got to say, off camera before, I said, Paul, you haven't got any tread in your trainers at all. And he went, you know what, Lyndsey, I've been falling over loads lately wearing these. Is that genuine of you?
No, but I didn't even know what you
There's no tread in them. They're like really, really slippy. Have you got cramp?
Not enough
It's
salt.
what happens before you turn 50. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. Peloton bike. But
there's no tread in your trainer. Look at that. Joe, look at that.
Did you run in those?
No. In fact,
No, he's had them since 1992.
No, I'm running proper running shoes. You can't,
Makes you go faster, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. You get spring in them.
Didn't you go on a trip recently?
Yes. So
Sorry.
So,
Get comfy.
so yes, we were. Yeah, it was the one I was talking about. I was in Spain.
Oh, that one. Okay,
I'm sorry, not in Spain. In Austria, and also Germany. The company I went to visit in Austria as well was, again, an amazing machining business. And they machined this. You might have seen I did this post on LinkedIn. They machined this globe.
Yes, they did. Was it two?
Two halves.
Yeah.
Two halves.
Incredible.
It was 120 hours of machining time, but the surface finish on this thing, I went to pick it
Quicker than
up.
Jesus or God. It took him 7 days.
I thought it went bang.
Don't start that.
And he machined this thing, and you put the two sides together, and literally, the join was just impossible. You know, like the Instagram or TikTok thing you used to do. It was similar to that, but it was really heavy. But as I was picking it up, I was like, no, you can't touch it because the surface finish was so good, and it was all to do with the finish and the metal and so forth. But it was a hobby, and there was a company that he worked with that wanted him to make 4 of these. One was for a museum, one was for somewhere else. I mean, the material alone would have been expensive. The machining time, 120 hours. He also machined like a brain, which again, I got a photo of Joe Amos holding. But he's like walking us around this factory, and he's going, "Oh, look, don't worry about the work that I do that makes me money. Have a look at this. You know, this is what I've machined for a hobby." But that was a good finish. We had 3 days. We actually had 3 days touring around. If you've ever been, or if you haven't been, to Lake Constance, which borders Germany. Lake Constance is in Germany, Austria, I think it is, Switzerland. It's a beautiful area of the country, and we had this sort of 3-day tour where we basically went around the whole lake and visited different companies, and all of that content will be coming to the channel soon. But just seeing the different businesses in Europe compared to often how we operate here. I mentioned government grants, but a lot of the machinery that has been had been purchased had been supported by things like that as well. So it was amazing. It was a good trip, and we got more trips coming soon as well. In fact, thick and fast at the moment.
Yeah, I've got Germany and Italy coming up as well.
Who are you going to see in?
We have got Germany Spinner.
Right.
Spinner, that's coming up. And then, Yes, we're going to do a case study out there of one of their customers. In fact, I don't know much about the job itself. And then we're talking about going out to Italy for another case study for Solic as well. So. And
in fact, there is we'll be doing a post in a few days' time. We've got an agenda for Europe over the coming 8 months as to where we're going to be. So if companies are watching this and are interested in us coming to visit, then of course they should get in contact. But with the summer coming, those parts of the world are good to go to.
Yeah, definitely. How cool is Autodesk? Not Autodesk. How cool is Autodesk? How cool is Robo Challenge?
You tell me. No, they're clever, aren't they?
Aren't they just?
They're clever. I can't say the word. They call themselves Imagineers.
Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah, like imagination. Engineers.
Yeah, okay.
But it's
quite a cool word.
I wasn't the best engineer, but I'll class myself as above average, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But you go in there and you think, not even close.
Honestly,
not even close. It's like a different world.
Like anything, don't they?
Yeah.
So anything that you want to throw at them. So if you go to a theme park, is it animatronics? Jake, is that right?
Yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah, close enough. If you go to a theme park, they make the characters there, and they're tasked with doing the most random stuff. I was blown away, and they just have their facility. It's in Birmingham, but they have their tools, and they've got great community. It's brothers, aren't they? They're brothers, aren't they?
Yeah.
What's the company?
They're called Robo Challenge.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah, they're called Robo Challenge. Obviously, the best known for the BBC. Well, I think it was BBC.
Circular Lot.
BBC, Circular Lot and the Robot Wars. Obviously, they built those. So actually, you can see them in their factories. That's what they're best known for. But there's lots of stuff they can't. Unfortunately, they can't tell people. But if you've used a character on an Xbox, there's a good chance they've built a human-sized one of those. And if you've watched a well-known gadget style program, there's a good chance they've made what you're looking at.
How on earth do you get into that? It's just being really good at making things that are a bit different.
I don't know how they advertise themselves, because they can make
they never have
anything.
They never have. So they started off watching Robot Wars and things, and actually we're doing a video for Autodesk, and it's actually in the edit. They talk about how they used to have remote control cars, and they'd sellotape a fork to it and crash into the other one. That's all started. Then they start putting on drills and things, and that's clearly that's.
But they were doing this for their own. Interest,
kids at school, probably primary school type thing, if not very early high school. Yeah. Whereas now it's Tesla type stuff. The stuff they have going through there is pretty darn impressive.
It's really cool, Paul, honestly. And
they're based in Birmingham,
Central Birmingham,
right by Goering and the Villa Ground. Yeah, that's
they've got a big place.
Yeah, I'm not very good with square footage and stuff, but it's pretty darn big.
They've got basically one of everything you need. Because I think that's a fair thing to say. They've got a nice grob in there as well, haven't they?
They've got
laser,
grab, they've got a Nakamura,
fabrication.
They've got a laser machine, a tube bender, and it's got, like Lyndsey said, and they can't outsource because some of these things, it's like it would take people years to make, and they make them in 2 weeks. Even less sometimes. It's astonishing. Obviously, they're working. We've talked about it before, but they're working on this Polpex. This essentially a bit more to it than this, but a cardboard bottle. Which is going to hopefully start to replace some of these.
But they're building the machines
bottles.
that build them. So that's not just the manufacturing knowledge; it's the brains. And you've got the two brothers that are. Okay, what do you need making? That's a lovely idea, but let's actually work out how it needs
It's the added value of their intelligence, isn't it?
I mean, let's make it.
That Robot Wars, I never ever watched. Did you ever watch that?
I did. I wasn't an avid fan. I have to watch it, but it's like Sakila lot and what have you. I was certainly aware of that. Used to watch it. My older brother used to like it, so he used to drag me in to watch it sometimes.
I was petrified, because as a child I used to watch that, and you might think, oh my gosh, she's pathetic, but as a child it was really, don't laugh, it was really scary. There was fire and everything.
I thought it was only a few years ago. Is it that old?
But it's
not
what you're saying.
But you know what I mean?
What you're saying.
But I didn't think it would be like you would have been really young.
About 7, maybe 10. Would I have been about 10?
You'd have been younger when it started.
I'm trying to make it that I'm younger because I was more pathetic being younger. Yeah. It was quite some time ago. So they were they must have been fairly young when they were doing it as well. But they worked with Dick and Dom and the presenters. They've done I think they've done stuff on the One Show as well. So they're really in that kind of world of media. Like, we were asking them questions and they were phenomenal on camera. They were brilliant the way they were reeling off their answers. But they've worked in that arena. But Robot Wars, it was like all the robots were basically killing each other.
So where's it gone now, though? Why do you not see? I've not seen it on telly.
They took it to another country, didn't they?
I think that they participate and have won lots of medals and trophies, as you'd imagine, in different parts of the world. So maybe it's not called Robot Wars. And
we should get them to build us
there's battle bots. There's all sorts of different ones. So
what about
essentially Robot Wars?
Soapbox. We should get them to build us a soapbox to do the soapbox challenge.
Soapbox rally, whatever.
Soapbox rally. You must have seen those things where you get in those.
Yes, do a competition across the UK.
Well, no. They have them in. They rock up in towns, don't they? Have the haystacks down either side of the road, and it's like a slight gradient, and it's getting from the top to the bottom. Have you not seen Soapbox Challenge?
Yeah, of course.
Soapbox. Red Bull Soapbox.
Yeah, I've seen the Red Bull. Yes, I know what you're saying. Yes.
They've got something they built. I think we can probably say all this. They'll tell us off if we can't. But they built something for famous guy, Martin Guy.
Don't say too much if you're not allowed to say it.
We'll soon find out. And basically, it's like what you're describing, but it had chainsaw motors on the back.
Right.
Yeah, and it's cool.
What changed to actually make it go?
With the engine, this thing blimming quick. You wouldn't want to. Yeah.
And that soapbox challenge, that sort of thing would be, I'd be amazing to participate in that. But if you did it, you'd want to make sure that whoever was building your soapbox was a good engineer, wouldn't you? Can you imagine if we made it here? Oh God, that would be a disaster.
What are you saying? You're not saying you're a very good engineer?
I wouldn't want to be building something like that. No. Talking about chainsaws, though, the old made me think of Mobland. Have you been watching that?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, don't watch that.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, that is.
No, I only watch, animal documentaries and things like that.
You were like, did he die? And I was like, absolutely, has he died? You've watched the latest episode,
I did watch the latest.
Spoiler alert.
No, I haven't said
It wasn't quite what I thought it might be when I saw the last episode. Cause everyone was getting better and better and better. I think the last one was... I don't know. I just didn't think it was quite as good.
I just think, sometimes, and I watch some of these programs and I go to Matt at the end, I go, I'm lost. I'm totally lost. And I think the last one was you have to, there's other stories, and it's that kind of one episode that confuses everyone where you're a bit like, there's too many stories intermingled here. I need to work out what's going on. Did you not find, I think that was that episode.
Yeah. And every episode like picked up, I don't know, I just felt that every episode I watched, when you watch these things and it just gets better and better and better and better.
That one didn't.
But the other one we watched was the world of our own, or the world of
the City is Ours.
The City is Ours.
Yeah,
that got better and better and better right the way to the end. It was just
never heard of either.
No, they're really good.
What do you do with your time, Joe?
I work. When I'm not working, the wife's watching property programs like Selling Sunset, and
Really?
I like to switch off. And if I have to concentrate on the telly, there's a problem.
Yeah.
But the end of, just going back to Mobland, the end, the twist, I thought like it's quite clever where they're at now. So I don't know why you thought the last episode. I think maybe we'll take this conversation off the podcast because that's good airtime. But Oh, I went to Axminster Tools on the South Coast, and I just wanted to tell everyone about this place actually. Have you heard of Axminster Tools before? I didn't realise how popular they were, but it's woodworking tools.
Yeah.
And we went to a company, obviously, they're not called I think it's like Axminster Precision or something, but they're like next door. Mm-hmm. We went to the company about 4 years ago, and they were in a smaller building. They've not only, they've grown and grown again, and the business is doing well, shall we say. But what I was quite amazed by is how they're taking sustainability. And I don't want this to be, people always go, it's a bit of a boring topic, but obviously everyone's got to do their part. I think they've increased their sustainability levels or something up 25% in a year. But all their packaging is now cardboard. Everything that they've made, silica beads that you used to put in and to dry out products and stuff. They've now got this new technology with cardboard that they're putting in. So I think everyone's going to have to eventually embrace all of this. All the plastic, the big wraparound plastic of all the pallets and everything. It's all reusable and everything. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're hitting, not net zero, not that, but they're sourcing everything locally. Like, I didn't realise how serious now companies are embracing that.
Yeah.
It was quite fascinating.
What are they making, though? They're making so they're making all of everything that they sell there for these woodworking tools and all the rest of it.
So they sell other brands.
Right.
As well. So they've got a shop. So they sell other brands all connected to woodworking.
Yeah.
They do woodworking talks and lessons and everything on site there. So people go to the shop and they can have they can be a hobbyist that wants to learn this. So there's all different facets. But what they're producing on site is the jaws and all different components for fixturing. So if you're going to make something, they've got tables that they've built and made. So you can buy the whole kit to hold your wood on the table when you're making your components. So there's loads of different products that they're making all on site. But what was so cool is to see the product being built on site, all packaged up beautifully, may I add, and then being sold on, Joe Public is walking in.
Do they sell to the world?
Yeah.
Do they sell to the world?
I think they do.
It's a big brand. It's a big company. Yeah.
Made in the south of the UK. Like that. Not
when you say the
everything,
jaws, though, are they made on the sliding head
They're
blades?
made on the star sliding heads. Yeah,
so again,
that
would prove.
And those, they're literally, when we were there 4 years ago, they built a machine to make those same jaws. And that's still, that machine, same machine, still making the same jaws and just churning them off because of how many are part of kits and they're required for every purchase that gets made.
Yeah.
But you can imagine 4 years ago, that machine's, I don't know whether they do lights out on that. That machine's still churning out that same part. It's pretty cool.
It'd be boring being a machine, wouldn't it?
Are they busy?
I
mean, are they busy? Was the machine shop continually?
Yeah, they were busy. And the team, honestly, I can't praise these lads enough. All young lads that they've got, but all of the lads were, again, mini geniuses. Because one of the lads, he literally stares into the slider, and he's really it's all to do with programming and everything, a bit anti that. He basically wanted to improve all of his processes by sight. He didn't want to rely on software to improve processes on the star. Yeah, honestly.
Wow. Sounds
so he
dangerous.
was like, I can see, but they're intelligent lads. Yeah. And he was like, I can see where we're losing like a millisecond off this process, where we can cut this faster. And he was quite... maybe, I hope he doesn't take offence to this, but more old school, whereas people would go, I'm going to rely on software. No. He's got the basics down. And I've never spoken to anyone who speaks like that in that way, but they're constantly improving processes and they're doing well. Wow. And yeah, really enthusiastic young team.
And that is a British brand. Is that British
Axminster Tools? Yeah, I'd say so. It's named after the location in Axminster. Yeah.
No, I have seen products from them, but I would have thought things like jaws and that would have used to have been made on milling machines, wouldn't they? Maybe?
Yeah. So when they originally
transformed the way they make it,
exactly that, they went from 6 ops to 1 and the grinding and all of the other processes onto the stars, and now they've got more stars and they want to grow their stars.
Where did you go to where they were making those drills? Those massive drills on the star sliding head lathes. That was an OEM of product. And I remember seeing the video, and they'd got a shop outside of there, and they'd got all these long series. What was it they were making?
Oh, where was it? That's going to annoy me now. I don't know.
But
for another podcast.
But British brands. The place that I was going to mention as I went to the Rolls-Royce Heritage Centre, which I must say to anybody is really, really worth a visit. I went there to talk about and look at their aero engines. Well, in fact, to look at the whole history of Rolls-Royce. And it's crazy because I didn't really know a lot about it. I mean, I did a Rolls-Royce apprenticeship, and you sort of think, should really know the history, shouldn't I? I did to a degree, but...
Yeah, but you forget, you're 50 now, so it's
I was only 17, 18 then, and I wasn't really interested. I was just interested in going in and earning money and picking my pay packet up, and that was it. But I went in there with Lee and Simon from Starrag, because we do a lot with how they talk about their machines, machining blisks and blades, and how the manufacturing processes are changing. But it was really interesting to go around the Heritage Centre, look at where it started, look at all the, all the older engines, some of the military engines, now right the way through to their latest revision of their engines, and just to talk to the tour guides about, I don't know, even the strength of these engines. There was one statistic the guy said to me, one of these blades on these engines, when it takes off, it's like the force of 70 tons being hung off it. 70 tons off of one of those. You look at an engine and there's all the blades. It's like 70 tons is being hung off that on each blade when the aircraft is being propelled to take off.
All made in England.
And the Heritage Centre, it steps you through every sort of generational change of the engines over the past. Well, it was 1904 when the company was founded, but sort of the last 60 years or what have you of engine manufacture, and it was just really eye-opening. To think it's open to the public, anybody can go. When you get on the plane and you see the engine, you don't really think too much about how it works, but they've got engines that are sort of split in half, and you can see all the blades and the blisks and everything right the way down to the the fuel systems and all that. So it was a really fascinating place to actually go. And if those videos hopefully will be hitting our channel soon.
It's so cool though, Paul, to see products being made. We went to All British, and have you heard of Dennis Mowers? You might not.
Yeah, I've got one in the garden.
Yeah, I think so. They're not a normal mower.
You got AstroTurf. Have you got that?
Yeah.
Have you? Yeah. Because they've got Dennis mowers and mowers that are used on lots of football pitches.
They must do mowers for the normal lawn as well. I
don't know. I think it's all like.
No, I think it's the big wide ones with the big.
Yeah, exactly that. Big wide mowers. Yeah. Made in Derby. Derby's like the place to be, isn't it? Made in Derby, and All British Precision. They were showing us all the components, all the mechanical components, and I think they make nearly every mechanical component that goes on onto a Dennis mower. It's like next door, the company next door. Yeah, they produce everything. So it was so cool because they were like, see this component? Well, that's that there, and see this, and that's that there, and you just think, wow. Like, you always assume that these products are getting made in elsewhere, and then you see them.
Well, you don't even think about it, do you? You buy something and you don't even, you don't really, or a lot of people don't actually look into how it's made and where it was made and all the little intricacies that go within it. Your mower is one of those ones that you put in the garden and you just press and it goes up and down, and it's, what would you call those ones?
It's my son on a what do they call them?
A mower,
not a tractor.
Have you got acres?
No, it's not a tractor.
Sit on
mower. Yeah, but my son, I wouldn't be allowed to do it. My son wouldn't let me.
Have you got a sit on mower?
It's actually the father-in-law who lives next door. But yeah,
have you really?
Have you?
Good Lord.
Yeah. I didn't know.
When I was talking to I was talking to Pete Smith about this when we were talking about some stuff on the efficiencies of the brother machines and stuff, and we were talking about reductions in energy consumption and all the stuff that we talk about with their BT30 machines. And we somehow got onto the fact that he'd got this small lawnmower thing. I can't even think what it's called. And it docks in his garden.
Oh, yeah, like the Hoover I have.
Yeah. You got one on the internet, and he presses go, and this thing just goes, and it goes 24 hours a day.
Does the ground have to be like a football pitch type thing?
No, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. And I said, well, what does it do with all the excess grass? It sort of, is it decompose it, or I don't know what it's.
I suppose if you cut it regularly,
you put it in your compost, won't you? So it must.
Yeah, but
I
think
it back into the ground.
Yeah, I think it does something like that. I don't think you don't have to go and empty it. I don't think. I think you literally press go and.
I bet it's got like a set home point, and it can exit it in there, and then I don't know. I could be wrong, but
and he can press it, and it can just be working the whole time. And now he doesn't have to mow the grass and that.
Yes. Speaking of brother, the latest MTD magazine is out.
Oh, nice plug there,
segue.
Joe.
Yeah, Atkinson Engineering. They've just invested in the brother the U500 XD1, the 5-axis machine, and it's with the Tesmexstan automation system. We're seeing that's popular, isn't it? We're starting to see that configuration a lot.
Yeah,
but it's
made in Turkey. We often see the lady when we travel around.
Yeah, we did in Czech.
Yeah, and they are now. White House Machine Tools are doing this thing now where you can give them your program. So basically, here's my program on my BT40 machine. They'll plumb it through their Speedios, and they can guarantee, or they say they can guarantee, a huge cycle time saving just by taking from one program and putting it through.
Have you seen them do that? It's astonishing.
Yeah,
literally,
it's incredible.
Without touching the program.
I know, it's incredible.
That's without optimizing it further.
I mean, you could be talking 70% reductions in cycle times, and it's all down to the acceleration, the tool change. It's point to point. It's astonishing to see. But it's still a case of, I think people just don't believe, people think, I can't save that much, but actually give them a chance. If you've got an ISO 40 program or an ISO 40 machine and you've got a program, give it to White House Machine Tools and they can run it through.
That's cool. It's like, well, we'll just prove it to you.
Prove it to you. And if it's not faster, then it's not faster. But yeah, White House would say, every time it will be much quicker, so it'd be interesting. And it'd be interesting to hear from people that have got these machines that have actually seen that in the real light of day.
Hopefully, we'll do a case study on one. Okay, well, I think I'm all out, but I hope
Got to go and clean the car.
Oh gosh, you do need it. On your way home, would you pull over somewhere and just? What's your idea? Would you rather have someone hand wash it, or would you rather go through one of the automated
I haven't
machines?
been through an automated
you'll be
one for a long time, but I would normally go to the
someone hand washing it.
Yeah.
Well, embarrassingly, in Hereford, I was going to go through one of those, and then it dawned on me, I'm in a Tesla. What do you do? Because normally you put it in neutral, don't you?
Yeah, you just stop the car and turn off your engine.
Yeah, but the wheels won't move, will they?
What?
What you mean? Do you think that you have to put a car in gear when you go into a car wash?
Yeah, when you go into a car wash, you take it out of gear, don't you?
No, you just pause it, put the handbrake on, turn the engine off, and stop and leave the car as is. There's nothing more to it. Why? What do you do?
Did you try it?
No, I got scared. I didn't. I bet you if I look, there's a car wash mode. I bet you, or something crazy.
A lot of people don't like to use those though because they will always say about maybe scratching it and stuff like that. So,
I think the ones I go to, they make up which I don't go to very often. I think they make the price up when you rock up in whatever car you've got, don't they?
Yeah.
You open the window. His first question is, "How much is it going to be?"
Well, if you got
and
a
they
Tesla.
go,
To be fair, I'd want double to wash your car.
maybe that's why they're looking around.
Yeah, that's what I mean when they see you look at your car.
Creepers. And then they go, £30, and what is that inside as well? No, it's another £10 inside. Yeah, it's getting expensive these days.
Yeah,
that's why I don't do it very often.
Just do it yourself. That's what we do. It's not that difficult.
I wouldn't do that. It's
anyway,
like hoovering.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Right. Okay. On that note, I really hope you have a fabulous birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for the wicked present. Thank you very much,
pleasure.
and for the
excitement.
Excitement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy Turfday.
No, it's not. I was outside and you caught me and I was blowing up all of those and you were like, and I was like, oh my gosh, full
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably thought she was a weirdo hanging out the back.
Have a great day. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, we don't know what you're doing this weekend, even you don't, but have a nice weekend.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you. See you soon.
See you soon.